Dana St. Clair, and I hope you'll join me for this next half hour as we talk about and experience meditation, and as we talk about and quite possibly experience the zaniness of being human. I would like to share with you some of my personal cosmology, because I know if one were to look at how this is all set up, the altar with the gongs and the candles and the Buddha, the elephant, this all looks very Eastern, very Oriental, very Buddhist. In fact, I consider myself a Christian Buddhist or a Buddhist Christian. I personally believe that Jesus and Buddha are hanging out together, having a really good time. Jesus and Buddha are not in conflict. It is we humans, us guys, that have this incredible fascination with conflict, with competition, with the winner. And then there's the seemingly all-pervasive assertion, certainly in some of the more fundamental Christian traditions, that say, if you don't believe it my way, you're not going to heaven. All of those people who believe differently than I do, they're not going to heaven, they're going to hell. I personally do not share that belief. I believe we are all evolving consciousness, and that what consciousness and God and life is about is love. Love. In my early 20s, I had this realization one evening as I was laying on my back looking up at the stars, which then was certainly one of my favorite things to do, and I realized they use the phrase, the law of love. And then there is also the law of gravity. And in that moment, this was back in the early 70s, it dawned on me that the law of love is as all-pervasive, as totally ingrained and a part of our reality and our being as is the law of gravity. We tend to think of love as this sort of Pollyanna, oh yes, isn't that sweet, kind of love. I've had this thing for about the last 25 years about the fact that we use the word love to describe all sorts of states, some seemingly very different than love. There is the, I love you. Therefore, you will do everything that I want you to do because I love you. Well, that's one kind of love. And there's, you know, it's like the Eskimos having whatever it is, 28 words for snow. Well, we need to have at least 28 words to describe all of the different strata, states, experiences that are love. In my early 20s, I was blessed to experience an incredible teaching. And it was a very intensive and extensive training that I feel in this life truly set my feet upon my path. And I remember then at 21, 22 thinking, my goodness, if I am receiving training of this caliber at such a young age, what is the rest of this life going to be like? Well, I've got to tell you, it's been a way good time. And that isn't because my life has been so totally perfect. It has certainly had its ups and downs. It has certainly had its raw moments. But for the most part, I have truly enjoyed myself. One of the things that I have enjoyed the very most is my relationship with my children and being a parent. And if that is what you are doing, if you are raising children, whether they are your biological children, your stepchildren, your adopted children, it is the most important thing you could possibly be doing with your life, because you are so completely affecting another human being and the way their life will then play out. Perhaps you have noticed how much your childhood and the experiences, the beliefs, what happened to you when you were young, how much that has colored and affected who you are as an adult. And so every child that you come into contact with, you as an adult have that much influence. Now, if perhaps you are watching this show and you're in your teens or your early 20s and you haven't had children yet, hear this. Unless you have gone through a major change in your own consciousness, you will parent exactly the way you were parented. Now, that's a scary thought. And yet at the same time, it is not impossible to change the way that you would interact with the children in your life. I feel particularly blessed because as a child growing up, every now and then, it was pretty random, but every now and then a voice in my head would say, remember what this feels like. Remember what this feels like. And then as I moved on into my teens, like particularly when I was around 16 and a little older, the voice got just a little more specific. It said, remember what this feels like because you are going to be on the other side of it. Okay. So I paid attention. I paid attention to what it felt like as the child, interacting with the adult, interacting with life. And I raised my children. I have a son and a daughter. I raised them remembering what it felt like. The thing that's so fascinating to me, you would think that parents of teenagers had never been teenagers themselves. With the judgment and the criticism that is often placed upon teenagers, teenagers are treated as persons of suspect. And it's as if, I don't know, what, do the adults feel so bad about who they were as teenagers and the choices they made and what they did, that they absolutely do not want their children to have an opportunity to live a life and make those same choices, decisions, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But my children now are 18 and 21. So we've pretty much done the teens. It was fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, when kids are young and things are going really well, you can't help but think, ah, yes, but what of the dread teenage years? Well, I've got to say the teenage years were the best. Just the best. And the people that I met, the friends of my teenage children, are incredible people. Incredible people. And they would come and talk with me. We'd have a pretty good time. One particular young woman, her parents expected her to cause trouble, expected her to be unreliable, undependable, a problem. Well, after a while, okay, you know, if that's what you want, that's who I can be. Truly, when you are raising children, what you see is what you get. And if you see a child who is a problem, who is draining your energy and ripping you off and just being a real pain, voila, that's what you get. But if you see in your child, in any child, another human being, a human being that has their own expectations and joys and frustrations, see, that's something we don't usually let our children express their frustrations. We don't let our children be angry. Well, what did that teach you when you weren't allowed to be angry? You really need to look at yourself. You really need to look at yourself and look at your life as a reflection of who you are. Another part of my cosmology, obviously, is the gongs. And to be perfectly honest, I have been teaching meditation. I have been a purveyor of meditation. That phrase came to me one time, and I had to look up the word purveyor in the dictionary. Well, good, purveyor, yeah. One who provides goods and services. You know, it makes me think of the guy on a wagon train, you know, who was the purveyor of the goods. Well, I am a purveyor of meditation. And I have taught meditation to groups and individuals for years, since the early 70s. And it was in the early 80s that a voice in my head began saying, "You need a gong." I didn't even know that bowl gongs existed. I only knew about plate gongs. And all I could think of were old Charlie Chan movies. I mean, you need a gong. Well, one day, I was reading a New Age Journal magazine, and there was an advertisement that said, Buddhist meditation supplies, pillows, incense, gongs. And it turned out that a day or two later, our family was going to drive right by. We lived in Oregon at the time. We were going to Southern California. The place that I was reading about was near Mount Shasta. It was the Shasta Zen Abbey. We were going to drive right by it. So, as we drove by, we stopped. And that's when I got my first gong. And I took it back and began working with it in the meditation groups. This is not an intellectual thing we're talking about here. I just began sounding the gong. We'd meditate, I'd sound the gong just to see what would happen. This must have been about 1984, maybe 85. And I have since, this is not even half of the family. I have quite a few gongs now, and I enjoy them tremendously, and I particularly enjoy sharing them. Because the gong tones can cut right through. The gong tones are not about intellectualization. They're not about analyzing. They're not about figuring it out and explaining and all that. The gongs are simply the gongs. And there are people who know immediately what to do with them, who know how to let those tones wash through and touch in a very deep place. And there are other people who are almost threatened by them, afraid of them. What am I supposed to do with that? What is that? So it's been really interesting to me. The gongs are just the gongs. The way people react to them tell me about the people, not the gongs. And this is true in your own life as well. You know, when somebody's telling you, oh, and the problem with you, you know, you're real, whatever. In fact, they are telling you more about them than they are telling you about you. Watch, experiment. Very interesting. I would like to share a meditation with you now. You're welcome to either close your eyes or to keep your eyes open. We've created some lovely visuals to share with you during the meditation. It is your choice. You will find that you will have a different sort of meditation with your eyes closed than with your eyes open. I'm not saying better or worse, different. So it's your choice. But as we go into meditation, I will close my eyes. You're invited to do the same. The important thing is to relax. Feel yourself settling in. Feel yourself relaxing into the cushions of your chair. into the floor, or wherever you're sitting. Feel yourself consciously letting go of tension and stress. Pay attention for a few moments to the chatter in your mind, the overthink, the commentator, the narrator. And without judgment, observe your thoughts. Simply be aware of what you are thinking. And as you watch your thoughts, also be aware of the voice in you that would judge, that would say that you're doing something wrong, that would say that you can't meditate, you could never quiet your mind. Just listen to those voices, the voices in you that pick on you, that you pick on yourself with. As the next few moments, as I sound the gong, simply be aware of your thoughts. And now, kind of follow your thoughts as if each thought were a train, a car and a train. And you're moving from car to car. You're moving from thought to thought. And as you move from thought to thought, you notice that as one thought ends, the next thought begins. And that thought ends and the next thought begins. As the thought that you are currently thinking comes to an end, before the next thought begins, slip into the space between your thoughts. And as you slip into that space between your thoughts, feel your consciousness lifting. Feel your vibration quickening. As you move into a realm of incredible peace. As you move into a calm, a clarity, a certainty that pervades your very being. And by your choice, choose to go deeper and deeper into that calm. Choose to open your heart, choose to open your mind to that clarity, to that certainty. Give yourself this experience of calm, of clarity, of certainty. Feel yourself opening to your greater awareness. And know that this greater awareness, your greater self, is always, always a part of who you are. And as you consciously open to your greater awareness, your greater awareness opens to you. Feel the welcome. Feel the acceptance and love that your greater self pours forth to you. Imagine your greater self coming up behind you and wrapping you in a cloak of warm, soothing, golden light. Feel this cloak of golden light all around you. And as if you are a dry sponge, soak up, absorb, draw in this golden light, draw in this soothing warmth. Feel it in your bones. Feel it circulating through your veins and arteries. Feel this soothing golden warmth in the very center of your heart. Let yourself have this soothing golden light. Let yourself feel this acceptance, this love, this warmth and clarity. I am going to sound the Om aloud 3 times. As I do so, allow this sacred tone, this ancient sacred tone, to move through you, to deepen and ground into the very core of your being, this golden light, this sense of love, this knowing, this clarity, this calm. I will sound the gong 3 times, drawing the meditation to a close. When it is comfortable for you, you may open your eyes. Here's an interesting thing to think about. Before Columbus sailed the ocean blue, everyone believed that the earth was flat. It was flat. If you went too far, whoo, off the edge. In fact, all the time that everyone believed that the earth was flat, it was round. It was always round. Round was nothing new. It was round. We believed one thing, another thing was the reality. This is true also with your relationship with your spiritual self, with your divine presence, with the truth of your being. You can believe anything about yourself. You can believe that God doesn't love you. You can believe that you are unworthy, poor, pitiful. But in fact, the earth is round. In fact, the spiritual truth of your being is with you always, accessible always. Allow yourself to open to that possibility, to open to that truth. And every morning when you wake up, express your appreciation for the many blessings in your life. Express that appreciation to the blessings in your life. Tell your children how glad you are to share life with them. Appreciate your life. Say thank you. Say thank you for the small favors, the small considerations. Appreciate those blessed details. Say thank you to the people who help you throughout your day. And be a helpful person that other people are thankful for. I thank you for joining me today. Namaste. The God within me pays homage to the God within you.